Hi, I'm Victoria Ballou, and thank you for trusting your intuition, coming here in this moment to hear the message your subconscious has for you, because it does indeed have a message for you. So please choose a stack of cards, the one that instantly you're drawn to. Go with your first intuition on this. This is how we get it right. Will your message be underneath Vesta, my warrior priestess, or underneath the fossilized shell? Perhaps it's underneath the quartz obelisk. See which one feels right to you in this moment and choose it. And while you're deciding, let me invite you to subscribe to my online monthly magazine, Astrologic. The new May issue just came out, and it is, of course, loaded with new articles dealing with astrology, tarot, dream interpretation, plus many more metaphysical subjects of well-being and how to move through this world right now using these ancient sciences and putting them into modern practice. If you enjoy my videos, I know you would enjoy my magazine, Astrologic. All right, as we begin our session today, let me share with you my favorite quote of all time, the one that I live by. It's by Albert Einstein, and he says, "Everything is energy. That's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. This isn't philosophy. This is physics." It's a fabulous quote. All right, let's start with the first stack of cards underneath Vesta. We are going to take a look at the first card, which is your overview energy. Your energy from a broad standpoint right now. Let's see what's going on. You have the Two of Swords. This is talking about a decision that needs to be made. And it's something that you're really not sure of. You're of two minds on this, right? Swords, of course, represent the element air, and it represents thinking, our intellect. And therefore, this is talking about a choice that you're needing to make, but that you're really stuck because you could go either way on two different paths. And so you're needing to make a decision. It could be something small. It could be something really big that you immediately recognize. But right now, that's where you are in your overview energy. So we're going to take a look at the second card, which is your challenge. Even though needing to make this decision, I know, feels like a challenge to you, there's something that's a little bit deeper that your subconscious, that the tarot is wanting to bring out. So let's take a look at what that is. All right, it's the Hierophant. This is saying your challenge is to dive deep. It could be a couple of things, actually, because I just got a little ping on something else. All right, so this is saying that you probably need to dive deeper into something that's deep within you that feels like sacred knowledge, right? That's what the Hierophant represents. He also represents tradition. Things like traditional religion, traditional ways of approaching these sorts of sacred texts, right? And so this is your challenge, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about here, because this could say you're being challenged by needing to dive deeper into something along these lines, along these very esoteric lines, to help you make your choice, to make your decision. Or the Hierophant can actually represent a person. This could be someone in your life who may be dictating something to you that you do not align with. And that was the ping that I was getting. And so if this is the case, this is saying that the decision you need to make may not rest along the lines of what someone is telling you along traditional lines. You need to trust your intuition. And of course, that's why you're here today, because you do trust it to come and see what the cards want to say. So this is really a very good message for you, asking you to dive deeper and trust yourself. and go with what that sacred inner knowledge is telling you, which may be that you already have this information, or it may mean that you need to do some research. So let's take a look at the third card, which is your course of action called for, and see what you need to do. Yeah, okay. And so it's the 10 of Wands. It's called oppression here in the top deck. This means you need to turn loose of the stress that you're feeling about making this decision. It's either the stress you're imposing on yourself or it's the stress coming from someone else. And so I want you to really think about that, because either way, you need to turn loose of this pressure, this stress, this oppression that you're feeling, because it's not allowing you to make the best decision. If you feel obligated, or you feel like this is the way I need to handle this situation, again, from a very thinking perspective, I would like to encourage you here to go with what your intuition tells you to do, which may mean breaking with some other path that may seem logical to you, that you may have someone pushing an agenda that just doesn't feel right. Here is your opportunity to tune in and trust what you are feeling on the inside. That's always our best guidance. It will never fail you. And if you have a little trouble understanding what that message is, meditation is always a great way to tune into that. Allowing your conscious thoughts to move away from, to move away from center stage. Pay attention to your dreams. Of course, I'm going to say that, because your subconscious is absolutely telling you what you need to do here, which is the best thing for you. And if you have some dream symbols that you're curious about, you can always send me a note here in the messages, and I can help you with what those symbols mean, because of course they're not literal. But this is saying you need to turn loose of this feeling of oppression so you can make this choice. And it has something to do with this sacred knowledge, whether it is your intuitive sacred knowledge or it's being imposed upon you somehow from perhaps a traditional standpoint. This is something you'll understand. The tarot can only give you the general information. It's up to you to fine-tune it. But if you do, you'll be able to make a very wise choice right here, the one that is in your highest potential. So I hope that helps. Okay, let's take a look at the second stack of cards. Scoot this over on my Chartre Labyrinth and take a look at your overview energy, which is your energy from a broad standpoint right now. Let's see what's going on. You have the Devil. Okay, so I know this looks like a very ominous sort of card, kind of scary, not really positive. The Devil can represent spontaneity and creativity in its balcony view, meaning in its highest potential. That's what the Devil represents, is you being in a very creative place, a fun-loving place, a spot where you're able to be spontaneous and take off and do something that feels really right to you in the moment. Of course, the Devil frequently represents our basement energy, which speaks of addiction, which speaks of spending too much time in an area that feels good to the point that it no longer feels good to you, that it has become a habit, a nasty habit, right? So the Devil is, shadow energy, very much from a Jungian perspective, deals with our shadow. And so this is where you are. And which, if you're in the balcony or the basement or right there on the edge between the two, you know where you are from this overview energy. So we're going to take a look at your challenge energy to get a little more clarification on what's going on here. Yeah, so you have the Five of Cups. It's called disappointment here in the top deck. And, this is talking about you being disappointed in some regard. And I want you to recognize that the disappointment, first of all, you need to admit it, recognize it, and that is in case you don't. But chances are you already do realize your disappointment with whatever this devil energy, this shadow energy has brought forth in you. And so, yeah, disappointment, of course, we all know is sticky energy because it really just nags at us, right, when we're disappointed in ourselves. Could this be disappointment in someone else? Yeah, absolutely. But disappointment in someone else is somehow always reflected within our own self and how we are interpreting a situation, right? Because again, in the 4 agreements, one of the agreements is, don't take anything personally. Therefore, don't pull, someone else's stuff into your own energetic field. So if that's what you're doing, don't do that. But this energetically feels like you're being disappointed in yourself, something that you're engaged in, a habit, right? Okay, so we're going to take a look at the 3rd card, your course of action called for, and see what is going on. Okay, you have the 3 of Wands, and it's called virtue here. And so this explains a lot. This is dealing with you. I mean, the clarification came through this card, obviously. And it's saying that, you need to pull yourself back into alignment with your virtues. Those things that are your moral compass, that take you forward in your life, the foundation of your character. That's what this is talking about, and it's saying very much so that it's whatever this devil energy is, whatever this shadow work is that is surrounding you right now and is creating this disappointment. It's time to recognize this and understand that you need to pull back in with your courage, with the things that allow you to feel good about yourself, about the values that you hold in your life. This is what this message is saying, because you've stepped a little bit beyond the realm of the balcony energy of the devil, right? You've stepped beyond that, and so you need to pull it back into the realm of, okay, this is who I am. And if you're not sure who you are, then think about it. Of course, I'm always going to recommend tuning into your dreams, looking at your dream symbols, understanding what those mean. And of course, if you aren't sure, then send me a message here so that I can help you with that. But it's really essential that you do this, because you don't want this to go any further. You don't want this to get more out of hand, because you're already recognizing that there's a problem here, that there's an issue that needs to be addressed. That's why you have this 5 of Cups energy of disappointment. So you need to address this, and the best way, of course, is just to realign yourself with your purpose in life, with what really allows you to go forward in life feeling good about yourself, your virtue, right? And I really hope you pay attention and do that. Okay, let's take a look at the 3rd stack of cards. The first card is your overview energy, your energy from a broad standpoint right now. Let's take a look and see what's going on. So you have the 8 of Swords here in the Thoth deck. It's called interference. What this is referring to is something that needs to be dealt with. I mean, clearly, literally, something that's interfering in your life. Of course, swords represent air, and they represent your thinking and your intellect. And so what's on your mind is something that is really interfering with keeping you on track. Now, the 2 swords gives us a clue that there are probably 2 things that are in conflict with each other, which the 6 swords crossing it just are letting us know that, you probably have 2 different ways of handling a situation here. And that, or what I just got is there are there's a way for you to deal with this that has to do with two people, maybe you and someone else, and there's the conflict that's coming as a result of whatever this interference is that's happening. So let's take a look at your challenge overview or your challenge card and see how to deal with this. Yeah, and so you have the 5 of discs. It's called worry. This has you really concerned. Discs, of course, represent our physical life, meaning it can represent our bodies, it can represent our physical environment, our jobs, whatever, is tangible, physical, right? And so this is affecting you in either a physical way or in your home life and your work life. And so this is something that really needs to be addressed because it's discombobulating. You don't know what to do. When worry starts, it's just this path of illogical thought a lot of times and doesn't really help because you're really caught up in the emotion. And so there's some work to be done. That's why we're going to look at your third card, the course of action called for. It's called Lust here in the Thoth deck. What this is referring to is to follow your passion. This is a combination of head and heart. This is saying that, yes, you need to use your head about how to deal with this interference, but it also needs to be resolved from the place of where your heart is. Is your heart really in it? That old saying, is your heart in this? That's the question you need to be asking yourself, because if your heart isn't in it, then you don't need to be doing it. I hope this helps answer this interference issue that you're dealing with, because once your heart is in it, you gain this enormous strength that allows you to move forward, to do the things that are right, the things that are best for you. If your heart's not in it, then that doesn't happen, And so I really encourage you to think about what the passion is involved here, because when that happens, the strength to overcome this inability to make a choice really becomes clear. It becomes very simple at that point that you know what to do. And therefore the worry will dissipate. It will just remove itself from your energetic field. And you'll be able to go on your path again. I know it sounds simple. I'm making it sound simple. And it can be very complicated. But honestly, this is a way to do it. Ask yourself, where is my heart invested in this? Where is my passion in this? And that's the route that you need to go. That's how you need to apply this in this particular situation. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Please leave any questions or comments you have. I'm always interested to hear your questions and your comments. And of course, I'm always here to serve you. Thank you for joining me.